Yes, I have a mess on my desk. I'm trying to sound like Dr. Seuss. Okay, so I am working on embellishments right now, and I decided that I wanted to do altar dominoes because I haven't done those in a long time, and I've got a whole bunch of printables that I wanted to use. So right now what I'm doing is and I'm also going to do a bunch of memory glass. I have so many different sizes of memory glass that I got from Tuesday morning hauls a while back, and so I'm going to use all these as well as altering the dominoes. So I had quite a few printables that I've been collecting for the last few months. Just when I run into a sheet I like, I'll get it. So I have a whole bunch of inchies, twinchies, micro slides, and domino size sheets. Like this is one of the micro slide sheets that I got. Gorgeous, gorgeous images. This is from Retro Cafe Art. I absolutely fell in love with this when I saw it on the blog, so I had to get it. And so, you know, just things like that. And like this one. Where did I get this? Oh, same thing. This is retro art as well. I think I've already cut up all the ones that I got from the Etsy stores. Because there is this one store. Oh, here it is. There's this one store. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that first name. But it's something whatever Imaginarium. And, oops, let me get it straight. Right there. That is her Etsy store. And I got this digital collage sheet from her. I got a few actually, but this is her Psychedelic sheet. And these are the ones that the twinchies came on. And I love, love, love these images. And I don't think I'm doing a good job of showing them because it's hard to get my image close-ups here on my camera, but there we go. But I love these. This is the Psychedelic sheet. Oh my gosh, I love these so much. So, but I'll show these more in detail once I get them done. Like I said, I'm going to do it on these in the memory, the 2-inch memory glass that I've got. And what else? And right now what I'm doing is I've cut out, oh, and I'm sorry, I also use Dye's printables. And Dye is Spare Marbles 2012 here on YouTube. And this is her Vintage Rose collection. And I got some of her inchy sheets. Here's the little inchies. And I'm cutting up the domino sheets right now. So I printed them out. And I've had to cut them down a little bit to fit on my domino. So I think when I did my printing, I printed a bigger image than I should have. I did the full color photo page instead of the fax page, and I think the fax page would have been the right size. But also what I'm doing is I'm using my corner chomper, and I'm using the 1/4 inch side of my corner chomper. So like here's when I'm, you know, well, I don't have it cut down yet, but what I'm doing is I'm taking the corners and I'm sticking them in here and then just rounding off the corner to kind of fit on my domino a little bit better. That way you don't have those sharp edges on each of the sides there. So that's a perfect fit. Love it. Love Dye's images on this too. So pretty. So I'll try to remember to post a link down below because you guys should go check out her printables. They make, like I said, really like this one. Ooh, I love this one. That'll make a beautiful altar domino when I get done with this. You don't even have to do any of the work. Like, this is so easy peasy because to alter these dominoes and microslides, because the designer of the papers that you use did all the work. They do all the work for you. So it's just a matter of just further embellishing it. But anyway, so this is where I'm at right now, and I'll come back after I get all these done and show you what I did. Okay, so my Embellishaganza continues. And I have let these sit overnight, so they still need to cure a little bit longer, but the this is how those turned out. These are my resin pieces of, and I even actually took a couple of the Spellbinders bezels. I've been hoarding these for a while too, so this is how this one turned out. Trying to get the white background, but keep hitting my cabinet there. And this is that Psychedelic sheet, collage sheet. I love this so much. And I've got some glitter in there, some micro beads. And I really, really love this piece so much. And then there's this smaller bezel right here. That's got some tinsel glitter in it. And some little bronze colored micro beads too. I love those. But anyway, so these need to cure a little bit more. And I'm really glad that I watched some of the resin videos, because there are no bubbles in any of these resin pieces. And how did I do that? I used a straw. They say if you lightly blow through a straw into your resin piece, the bubbles go away. And I was like, that can't work. Guess what? That really works. So I used this, let me find it. I used the Cast and Craft. My hardeners even turned to amber, but it really did not affect the color on my resin. So I am really happy with that, because in my Craigslist haul, I got 2 packages of this. So I've got a lot of resin that I am able to use. And the one thing I've been hesitant about using that for is the bubbles. So what I found is if I let the container that I mix it in sit for about 5 minutes and then pour, it really, you don't have a lot of bubbles, and even the ones you do, that simple straw method works. So very happy with that. And now I have moved on to the next set of embellishments, which are going to be my altar dominoes. And some of these I may just leave plain, and some I'm planning on doing a dangle, and others altering a little bit differently. I'm not really sure where I'm going with. But what I did last night is, and I went through an entire tin, this tin that I found at Goodwill. I went through an entire tin of these white dominoes, and now I've actually moved on to my actual set of dominoes that I've had for years and actually used to play with. But anyway, last night adhered all my images, sanded all around it, and put a coat of Collage Page on top to seal all my images. I'm getting ready to do my second coat of Collage Page. You don't have to do that, but I plan on using casting resin on top of mine instead of glossy accents, which I know a lot of people do. So instead of doing that, I'm going to try and use this first and see how that goes. And for that reason, that's why I'm putting 2 coats of Collage Page, because I don't want there to be any watermarks or anything on these. So I want to make sure there's a good seal. Oh, and looky there. I know you can't see my accident I had because I've got a Band-Aid on it. I probably should have gone to the hospital last night when this happened, because this is definitely going to leave a scar. I bled for hours. Not an hour. I bled for hours after I cut my finger. I was drilling holes in the bottom of my... I'm going to see if I can pull it out of the garbage if it's still here. I was drilling holes in my domino to... Yeah, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Drilling holes to do my dangles off of, because I wanted to have a hole, and I think this one was the first one I did. So there's my hole on the back side. I've got to get my piercer to punch the hole through to the front. But after that one, I went to my second one, and look, my drill bit cut off inside my domino. I was putting so much pressure on it to get it through there. I don't think I had the right drill bit, and so it slipped when it snapped in half. The drill did. I have one of the big drills, like Home Depot drills, and it slipped, and that drill came and hit, the drill bit actually came out and sliced through my finger right here, and it was a very deep cut. So, lesson learned, to have the right tools when you're doing a job to avoid those kind of accidents. So anyway, I'm going to put my second coat on here, let these dry, and then I'm going to continue on with alcohol inking the backs of these, maybe using my gold leaf, whoops, everything's falling out now, gold leaf pens. I'm also going to try to use some of this Inca Gold, you know, just a few things to fancy them up, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm getting ready to start my art tiles now. And what I did the last time I was working with clay is I cut out of air dry clay a bunch of 1-inch tiles, close to anyway, and cut those out. And then I also did some bigger tiles with a little cookie cutter, tile cutter, whatever you want to call it, because these have a scalloped edge. And these are bigger. These are like, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches. You can see the difference here. And 1.25 inches maybe. And I'm going to make some art tiles using Linda at livartnow, her art tile tutorial. And this is just all part of my Embellishaganza weekend that I've been having here. So I'm working on all embellishments. Okay, so I have all my tissue and paper tapes out right now. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. I don't have to gesso my tiles because they're already like, you know, a white color. So I am just going to start applying, you know, some of these tissue tapes onto my tiles, and then I'll be back. Okay, I may have gone just a tad bit overboard on my Embellishaganza, and I did all my cutouts that I had on my domino pieces and made all of these, and they are topped with resin. I am starting to love resin. That's going to be like my favorite medium to use. I definitely am going to have to make sure I don't ever run out of that stuff. So I'm still quite a ways away from that though. But I did use a lot of resin to get these done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick just a few of these to do some charm dangles off of. And I'm using these right here, these little glue-on bales. So I'm going to attach those to the top and to the bottom so I can have a dangle. But like I said, just on some of these, not on all of them. And here's like, you can see the backs and the sides. There's that really bad cut I got from that crappin' drill. They're all really, you know, kind of different colors. I didn't do, this is that Diane, her paper, and then I stamped on top of it. And then did stickles, kind of around it, and then some micro beads, all embedded in the resin. Actually, I think that's a rub-on. This is a stamp and that's a rub-on. And then all the embellishing on top of it, and then I poured the resin. Sorry, poured all the resin and then put the micro beads on top. So, like, there's a side view on that, and the back of that one. Okay, so there are those, and then my art tiles. I love the way these turned out. I wish my images had turned out better, though. I should have done better stamping on these. Oops, let me fix this. Should have done better stamping, but again, this is my first time doing art tiles, so I don't even know if you can see that. But I just love them. I didn't do anything to the backs of these because I figured these are just going to be flat embellishments on projects, canvases, mini albums, journals, whatever. And then there's another whole bunch of them that I did. And the same thing, the only thing I didn't do is I didn't stickle anything. This just has all micro beads embedded in them. There I put a little star embellishment in that one while it was still wet. So it's pretty much set with that resin now. And then with my leftover resin, I took some paper and I just covered a couple of sheets. These are matte sheets. And I believe it's from the Kirby Teasdale line. And I just went ahead and did some resin paper with my leftovers. I love that. Makes it so durable. You can't tear this stuff. So anyway, that's it on that. I'll come back and show my final charm dangles with that when I'm done. But now I'm getting ready to come in, hello, with my melt pot and my memory glass, and I'm getting ready to do those charms. So I will have those good to go, and I cut them out. This is the 2-inch one, and I cut my images out, and I even got backing paper because when they're sandwiched in the glass it's going to be two-sided. I'm going to do the same thing, have a dangle off the top. So but what I'm going to use, I'm going to use Suze Weinberg's method for doing a faux soldering technique using UD, and I'm using like the different metallic UDs to do it. And so I'm gonna do the faux soldering all around here in my melt pot, and I will be back to show all these when they're done. Okay, so Suze Weinberg has a really good video on how to do this. I'll try to remember to post a link below, but anyway, so I have my microslide pendants, images inside the microslide frames here, memory glass, and I have my melt pot on with my copper, copper, that's the wrong one, but it's a copper colored UD that's in here. So all you do is you just kind of scrape it just to get that edge. And I'm going to do both sides. So come and do the other side so that you get kind of like that edge right there. I don't know if you can see that. And you just go around, and this dries really quickly. So, and this took I had a learning curve on this. So I messed up my first one, and I'm going to have to do some cleanup on it. But you just want to just barely scrape it. You don't want a big, thick edge, because then you're just covering your image. So then you just bring it up, let it cool off for a minute, because this glass does get hot from sitting in that. And see, I can see that I missed some here, so I got to go back in. Just pick some up. And then I'm going to come back in. Make sure I cover the whole thing, because you want a good seal on it. And then come over here. And then finally the last side. Just be really careful, because this is really hot. Especially when you get into these smaller ones here. So, okay, flip that over. It's already starting to get super hot. I got a bubble. Just going to take my, whoa. Got a bubble that's not coming out. There we go. Alright, I'm going to let that cool off. But anyway, this is basically, let me turn it around where my image is showing. So this is basically what you've got. So I like this technique. I like this a lot. So I'm going to do that with the rest of my micro slides, and then I'll come back and show you what they all look like. So here's the one, my second one that I just had done right here. And this is the one I messed up. This was my very first one, and I went too far. So I'm going to have to scrape some of that UD off of there. Did okay on the very, you know, on the front image, but I've got to do some cleanup there. So, I'll be back. Embellishaganza is now at its conclusion. Thank goodness! I started this on the 14th, and I have ended it on the 29th. So this has gone well over 2 weeks. And I am so sick of beading right now. It's going to be a while before I want to even do any more beading. Okay, so let's get to it. I just picked and chose some of my embellishments that I did. So like bottle caps, dominoes. I just picked some of those and decided to do beading on it. I couldn't possibly do all the beading on all those pieces because there were so many of them, dozens and dozens. So, anyway, so this is what I wound up picking. I had a little runoff that didn't fit on my little dress form here, so I had to put it over here on this dress form that I had my lovely embellishment from Kelly Merton actually sitting on. And so I threw the rest that I had over here. So what I've got is just this dress form. This is where I hang all my chunky charms. So let's get going here and show you what I did. So obviously bottle cap, embellishment, did a little charm dangle, added some dyed seam binding, and as Rhonda calls this not so fun fur, wrapped around the bottom bell here that you can't even see. And then here's my chunky charm, and it is just full of all kinds of bead dangles that I made, and just charm. Here's a bead dangle I made. I didn't have the right wings to do a dragonfly, but anyway, I used butterfly wings instead. Just all kinds of dangles, industrial chic, charms, and my beading dangles, and my lights going in and out. Sorry, you guys. Anyway, what is this? Oh yeah, this is a clock, if I can get it. This is a clock that I did additional dangles off of, and then a bottom dangle here. So I even went further and did dangles off of dangles. So okay, so that is my bottle cap, and there's the back of it. It's just the metal. I haven't done anything to the back of that. I may do a rub-on or something on that when I finally put it on a journal or a mini album, but right now it's just plain. And as you can see in my little resin here, I embedded some little tiny watch gears inside there. So, and then here is my altered domino. Get it out. And most everything that I attached with is with these little swivel clasps. It's either the jewelry swivel clasps, like this one, or the Tim Holtz swivel clasps. Because, like I said, I'm going to use these on mini albums or journals. So I wanted to get a lot of these done. And I don't know about you guys, but there are tons of videos that I watch, and I put it in the vault for later reference because, you know, there's so many projects I want to do. It's my art ADD. So I throw it in the vault and use it later. And every 3 or 4 months, I try to do a project. And that's how this happened. I've had it on my bucket list, crafty bucket list, for quite a few months. And it's about time I finally did it. So, which is why I spent 2 weeks doing all this. Okay, back to this. Kim's going on a ramble. Go figure. Okay, so I love how this turned out. I did a little bit of that bling around the edge here. Stuck some of the feathers from Natasha's store, NSK scrapbooking store on Zibbit. And I like those feathers, so that's why I was was like, I got to use those somewhere. I did a little bit of lace with the dyed seam binding here. And here's my chunky charm. And again, oh, and this right here is the bead dangle that Nurse Tara 04 here on YouTube has the video on. And mine didn't turn out so good. I could not get all the pearl embellishments that were in these tulle bead sprays. I couldn't get it all up in here, so I had an issue with that. They all fell out, so I wound up sticking a little rosebud in the center there just to fill the gap. But I'll put a link down below to Tara's video because it really is a really cool video. She has one doing the tulle bead sprays and then also using flowers as well. So anyway, that's how that one came together. And the back. So then the back, just to cover up where the feathers connect, I used a Butter Bee Scraps metal filigree piece here. And Inca Gold, used Inca Gold. I believe that's silver. This lighting on my camcorder going in and out is going to annoy me. So I'll probably be bitching about that the whole time I'm recording here. So okay, then the next one, another domino that I put pearl strips around. There's the back side of it, and here is my chunky charm that I have attached to the bottom. See my little owl, and my little bead dangles. And next, oh, this is my Spellbinders bezel. And come on, light. And I took a little fabric flower that I stuck on the middle of my seam binding. Then here's my bead dangles down here. All kinds of charms on this one. This was actually, this is an Articake, I believe. Articake dangle right here. So I didn't really have to do anything except add all the charms and bead dangles to the metal that was already dropping down from this main charm right here. So that made that pretty easy. Okay, and then here's the larger bezel right here. I love this piece. Okay, sorry, I'm doing this one-handed, kind of sucks. And here's this bezel. I love the way she turned out. Love it. Love it, love it. I think I mentioned already that I really like those images that I got. And then come down. Here's the big charm dangle. Okay, and then I have a lot of fibers on this one, so some lace, some organza, or whatever the heck that is. It's all frayed. I like that. And then I carried on with this little lace down here. I love that image as well. And then here is my charm dangle. Here's the back side. Like that little dress form. Of course. I have a dress form obsession. I think we all do. Okay, and then another bottle cap. This one is a white one. And I love this little Articake. I've been wanting to use this on a project, so I snatched that right up to throw on this one. And these next two are Articake charms that were already done. I just wrapped some not so fun fiber around there. I love that. Love that from Rhonda. And then again, this just, you know, I added all these dangles to it because and charms because it already had all these, you know, chains hanging down. So took a lot of the work out of it for me. So I've just added. And this right here is a little spool, a little teeny tiny miniature spool that I wrapped some black lace around. And it's a Swarovski bead down at the bottom and the top, and then some more beading on the top. So I like how that little dangle turned out. It's kind of a sewing themed one because of the big thimble. That was kind of the inspiration for that. And this is another Arctic cake that was already done. And again, all I did was add all the bead dangles down here. So, and another bottle cap. This is a steampunk. Is this where I started? Yeah, this is where I started. I gotta find my cameo. I had a cameo one up here. I have no idea where that's at. Did I miss it? I missed it. It got buried. Sorry about that. So this is one that I just used a Tim Holtz. Sorry, I'm out of frame. Tim Holtz swivel clasp. And I took a couple of those and just did, you know, dangle off of that. And this is like a little fabric flower in the middle of my seam binding. And here's the actual bead dangle part. And then the bottom part is this beautiful cameo. Love that I got from Butterbee Scraps. The bezel frame as well as the cameo came from her store. So that was kind of the center piece that I started with. And then I built my way up on this charm dangle. That's how I did all of them. Started at the bottom and worked my way up to the top. There's that one. Okay, and then finally, here are the kind of leftovers that I had. Here's another domino that I added some feathers. This I got from Elizabeth's store, Beady Bomb Bomb. And I did bling around the sides of that. Some lace, and then a huge chunky charm. Oh, this is another one of Nurse Tara's tool bead dangles. That one I got the beads to stay in. And just some more dangles. Made a little angel. So there's that one. Oh, and the back, sorry. There's the back. I did the same thing as I did on that other one with covering up the feathers. So there's that. And then here's another one. It's a micro slide. I love the image on this one. And this time I did the bean dangle at the top, not at the bottom. So these are just all the different charm dangles. And then just one big dangle down here. This is, I believe, another Arctic cake piece. Here's the back side of it. And then finally, the last one is this one right here. Another one of those images that I love. And this one's kind of bird themed because she's holding the bird right here. So I have like some bird charms. Little bird cage was the bottom center focal point. And then here's the back side. Just took some Secret Garden paper to back the image with. And that's that one. So those are all my little lovely chunky charms. And I'm glad this is over and looking forward to the next project. So I'll see you guys later.